Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Anmol Astrology channel. Now, today's video is about the predictions for 2024 for the fire signs. That is going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So, let me share my screen. So, first of all, you people would have to go through the introductory video. That is the part I have published previously. So once you go through that, you'll understand what effects these planets are going to give altogether. And then look for the videos according to your ascendant. Okay. So now let's talk about Aries. So I've taken the chart for 1st of May because at that point, Jupiter is going to transit in the sign of Taurus. So for Aries ascendant, Jupiter is going to be in the 2nd house. Ketu in the 6th house, receiving the 5th aspect of Jupiter. Saturn in the 11th house. And Rahu in the 12th house. And Ketu is giving its 9th aspect to Jupiter. Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu, 3 of them are aspecting the 8th house for an Aries individual and on the sign of Scorpio. So one thing is for sure that these people are going to have a very transformative time for 2024. Specifically when Jupiter is going to go into the 2nd house. Now, if you have, gone through my previous videos where I have discussed that there are certain houses that activates marriage of a person. So those are actually 2nd and 11th for an individual. So here, both of them are getting activated. 2nd house, 11th house, then 5th house by the 7th aspect of Saturn. Right? But the thing is, it is not necessary that all the Aries individuals are going to get married unless any of these houses involve their Dharakarka or the 7th Lord. Okay, but if we are just talking about an Aries ascendant with these transits, it's more so that such people are going to have a focus towards their career in this time. Their career will ask them to devote a lot of time. These people are going to travel at this point. These people are going to do a lot of things related to career. So there's a major transformation. An Aries ascendant individual can also travel overseas to settle. So since 8th house is getting highly activated and Rahu is in the 12th house, giving its 5th aspect on the 4th house, there could be shift of residence, and that could be for the purpose of job. For example, a job or career. For example, a person has gotten a better opportunity overseas, so their company is transferring them to overseas. And since the 11th house has Saturn and Jupiter is in the 2nd house, remember these two planets are the planets of manifestations. So that's why wherever these particular planets go in the transits, there are some results that are bound to come in because of their activation. So 2nd house is the house of finance and income. And again, the sign of Taurus is there. Taurus is originally about these things. Then 11th house is about your desires. It's about your recognition. So basically, you'll have to put a lot of efforts towards being recognized and towards fulfill your desires. And one more thing is going to be there. The Aries individual is going to have very organized and restricted, limited number of desires at this point. They are going to be very practical and futuristic with whatever desires they have. See, there are two kinds of people. One who have hopeless desires, like who are not working towards fulfilling their desire, but they hope to be multi-billionaire sometime. But there are ones who actually are working towards it and being very practical about what they want to achieve. Suppose they are earning good, like 12 lakhs a year. Now they are expecting to go to 18 lakhs. That's feasible. That's a practical thinking to have, right? I'm not saying it's that a person is going to have such a small desire, but it's just that with this particular placement, you'll try to analyze the situation more, you'll try to desire according to the circumstances, and you're going to work towards that. And definitely for an Aries individual, there is going to be enhancement of income. The income will increase, but of course, because of Jupiter being in the second house, you'll be have to provide your family with the finances. Your family would require some sort of responsibility to be taken care of. Okay, there are going to be a lot of expenses. So there could be a marriage situation, there could be just simply traveling overseas, which is going to make you do most of the expenditure, because Rahu is in the 12th house. Now Rahu being into the 12th house is going to disturb your sleep, is going to make you obsessive towards your subconscious mind. So whenever you wake up from the sleep, and also you can expect good gains from your investments, and investments more so like crypto. Those are basically digital, like Rahu, like the 8th house, sudden gains. Okay, because Saturn is also giving its 7th aspect to the 5th house, then Jupiter is giving its 5th aspect, and Saturn is giving its 10th aspect to the 8th house. So that's why you can expect those things. Okay, Rahu in the 12th house will also make you feel lethargic. Of course, because of the travel and because of the sleepless nights. Not, I would say, it's not totally sleepless nights, but a person tends to think a lot, because Rahu goes into your subconscious mind. 12th house is house of isolation, so you would love to remain isolated, not connecting a lot with people. And since Ketu is in the 6th house, you are going to give a tight competition to your colleagues, to your enemies. If there's some legal case that is going around with a sorry, with an Aries individual, you'll try to quickly end that up. If there's some debt, you'll try to quickly pay that off, quickly go away with that. Saturn in the 11th house, support from organizations and corporate. If you are a person with Aries ascendant or Aries moon and you are working into some organization, some corporate company, now is the time when you'll receive support from them. Of course, there could be, I won't say it's actually promotion or something. It's not in every case. Only if the alignments are so, then only there could be a promotion, but there could be just you'll be recognized for your work. You'll be appreciated, but only if you're actually putting your hard work. Not like Rahu, that you're just putting an illusion of hard work there and you're getting the results. You're getting recognized. Okay, so this is what could be the results for the sign of Aries. Right? And yes, this particular all these transits are going to make you work a lot harder towards maintaining your joint assets. It is going to give blessings towards your in-laws. It could also create some moments of celebration in your family. It could be a childbirth also in your life. For an Aries individual, if you're trying for a child, this is actually the best time for you to conceive. If it's a female, then you have to look the activation for the 4th house, but if you're a male, then it's more so 5th house, because most of all 5th house gets heavily activated for a female when the birth of the child is actually going to happen. When they are when they become pregnant, that is actually the activation of the 4th house. Okay, so there could be either addition in the family through marriage or addition in the family through childbirth. And more so, I see the childbirth as to be the prioritized prediction. Okay, now let's look up for the sign of Leo. So for the sign of Leo, Ketu is in the second house, Rahu in the eighth house, Jupiter in the 10th house, and Saturn in the 7th house. First, let's talk about Saturn. And the sign of Scorpio is where? The 4th house. Leo people will have a little hard time with the society, hard time in career, hard time generally with people. Why is that so? 5th house, you have Saturn. A lot of criticism from people. You're working in corporate, you'll be criticized for your work. You'll be given so much responsibility at your work. You'll try to help someone in your work, which can actually lead to you getting, defamation because of that. So if you desire to help someone within your work specifically, try to keep it a little hidden. Or I won't say you should avoid it, but you can keep it a little hidden. Because eventually, even though your intentions are totally pure, you are going to get criticized. That's because Saturn is in the 7th. If you are in a relationship, your partner will tend to criticize you, judge you a lot. But when you need support, they'll be there to give you support. But they'll try to criticize you on every single thing. And even you will become a person who shall criticize other people very quickly. You are going to be very judgmental for this time. There could be sudden events, very sudden explosive events in your life, because Rahu is in the 8th. Then Ketu is in the 2nd. That means that for some while, there could be chances that you will take a break from your income. And you'll have to get dependent on someone else. Maybe your family. Maybe you'll have to take care of your family's wealth, father's wealth, because Jupiter here goes into the 10th house. You'll require to take the responsibility. Ketu in the 2nd house. It could make you separate from your family. It could make you travel overseas. Although 7th house is being activated through Saturn, but it is not going to necessarily make a situation of, either, a new relationship or a marriage. Rather, this time can be a little heavy with the relationships. Because Leo people are not very happy being criticized. They want all the love, affection, and attention. They do not want to be called out, which Saturn does. Saturn is like pinpointing you out, that you're wrong here, judging you. So they don't like that, because that's ruled by Sun. So that's why your personality is going to transform. Your finances are going to transform. Your lifestyle is going to transform. Why? Because Ketu and Rahu are in the 2nd and 8th. Whenever Ketu and Rahu transits from 2nd and 8th, there's going to be change, massive change in your lifestyle. If Ketu is in the 2nd house, you'll suddenly become a person who is not much about doing a lot of unnecessary expenditure. If Rahu is there in the 2nd house, you'll start doing unnecessary expenditure, or even you'll become philanthropist in case of Rahu in the sign of Pisces in the second. So that's the prediction for Aquarius ascendant. You'll try to, there could be problems with your digestive system, so you'll have to be very disciplined with your nutrition, because Ketu is in the sign of Virgo in the second house. Ketu would require you to be very careful of what you eat. Like you're just intaking less salt food, and even there's slightest salt, more salt, you'll feel a little bit uneasy about it. Okay, so here Rahu goes into the 8th house. We all know 8th house is the deep dark house. Rahu, when goes into it, you'll suddenly develop interest into astrology. It's actually not going to be suddenly, but suddenly you'll be more research oriented towards astrology. Whatever is happening in your life, because for Leo, this their life is going to change at this point. Why? Because Saturn is going to take their pride down, and it is going to stuck them with reality checks. Because of that, they'll be very confused about what is happening in the world with me. That's why they'll start looking for answers in the 8th house through astrology. Then Jupiter is in the 10th house. I told you, you'll have to be a little careful with your image in the society and in your career, because see, Jupiter is actually debilitated, originally debilitated in the 10th house, because now you're putting a guru at the workspace. So if you want to go comfortably with this particular placement, you'd require to give people suggestions only if you are getting benefited from it, because that's the actual trait of Jupiter in Capricorn. They are opportunistic. So at this point, you'll be very strategist with how you are dealing with your opportunities, within your career specifically. That's why if you try to do things a little like what the placement is asking for, you can get your things done. I hope you're getting my point. Okay, so that's the predictions for the sign of Leo. And then lastly, we have the sign of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, Saturn is in the 3rd house. Rahu is in the 4th house. Ketu in the 10th. Then Jupiter in the 6th. Now, this tells me that Sagittarius individuals have to work really, really hard. Saturn in the 3rd house is going to make you work really hard. You have to put your efforts. The universe is, for this year, the universe is not going to let you be Sagittarius. Sagittarius is what? The original what? 9th house, the house of fortune. The Lord of Sagittarius is going into the 6th house for this transit. So you will be becoming workaholic, working towards your wealth, working towards paying off your debts. Jupiter in the 6th house does extremely well when it's about work. But in relationships, it's not the best planet to go into the 6th house. So your wisdom, your optimism is going into the 6th house. At this point, you have a time where you are going to give lessons and get lessons through your encounters with your enemies. Jupiter in the 6th house is like that you start preaching or giving philosophical lessons to your enemies. So even though you'll give a good competition, you'll be heavy on your colleagues, you will be heavy on your enemies, but still you'll try to benefit them. You'll try to teach them lesson. Now the sign of Scorpio goes into the 12th house. For this year, you'll be applying for maybe a foreign travel. It could also be for shift of residence. Why? Because Rahu is in the 4th house. So 6th house Jupiter will make you an excellent manager of money and debt. But this could be the fact because of Jupiter being in the sign of Taurus specifically in the 6th house. You may incur debt because of your lifestyle. So as to just show off a lifestyle, you may get into debt. So be careful with that. Saturn in the 3rd house will restrict your communication. But it'll make you very practical and straightforward for this while. If you're working through social media, you'll have to put a lot of efforts towards it, but you will definitely get results and support from large population because Saturn is in the 3rd in the sign of Aquarius. Rahu in the 4th. It can also, Saturn in the 3rd can also distance you from your younger sibling. Okay. And Rahu in the 4th. So what will happen that you will have some irritation within the home, within your heart space. You won't feel peaceful. You'll spend your nights working on something. And why I'm saying so, not just because of Rahu in the 4th, but also because your 12th house is getting activated. The sign of Scorpio we discussed about. So as to manage your sleep, this has to be a task for you. So as to manage your travel, so initiate your foreign travel, you would require to work really hard. But you're going to get good and maximum amount of support from foreign lands or foreign people. The moment you'll travel this year overseas, your bhagya will rise. Ketu in the 10th. So there's a significant transformation that is going to happen with you. It could be change of residence, going overseas, and significant change in terms of career as well. You might change your field of career, or you might go for a business or a work where you have to do something you are passionate about, something to do with your skills. 3rd house is the house of skills. Saturn is activating that. 4th house is the house of the skills or the research that you do at your personal space. Suppose I am interested in astrology because I am a learner of astrology. What I'll do if Rahu is coming into my 4th house, what I'll do is in my personal space, in my room, I'll have all the books of astrology and I'll start learning them to enhance my knowledge. And then I'll try to pursue it as a career. That's an example. Because when Ketu comes in the 10th house, you become dissatisfied with whatever you are doing in your career. So you just want to give a tight competition and you want to mark your flagship over your career. So as to do that, your mind is going towards the 4th house. Your mind is going towards the research. So you start searching for businesses or startups online. And because of Saturn being in the 3rd and Jupiter being in the 6th, these are very supportive planets with starting something new in your career. Okay, and it could be related to overseas, right? Now Ketu in the 10th house, you'll be less interactive at this point, because Ketu in the 10th house is like you are detaching yourself for some while from people. You're going towards Rahu. You're loving your personal space. You're loving your me time. So you're trying to have that. But again, Rahu Ketu are the loop. So they'll make you go from Rahu to Ketu, Ketu to Rahu, then Rahu to Ketu. Again, this loop is going to go forward. There could be problems with the health of the father and the mother also. Why? Because Saturn is aspecting the 9th house and Ketu is in the 10th. Then Rahu is originally in the 4th house, and Ketu and Saturn is in the 3rd, 12th from 4th. Okay, and it could even affect your personal health also, because your ascendant lord goes into the 6th. Gas related issues more so for you. Okay, so guys, this was my analysis about the fire signs. I hope it was helpful. And now next is going to be the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Okay, so I'll be back with that video. I hope it's helpful for you guys. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below, www.anmolastrology.com. And under the reading section, consultation section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the unique reading section, you can book a unique reading for yourself, for mostly for people who know about astrology and want to dive deeper into their personal charts. Okay, so see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care.